All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a new week, a new moment. Of course, we are here on the Reality Kenya. My name is Simi Kenya, and as usual, we are live from the Learned Corner with our guest, the Deputy Party Leader of Safina Party, Honorable Wakili Willis Otieno. Piki Ponki. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're looking fresh and cool, eh?
Thank you very much.
As usual.
As usual.
Yes.
This is my weakness. You know,
yes.
when you look at this country, the way things are going, things are very bad. I want Kenyans to understand something that we are not paying attention to in this financial cycle. Because we are now heading to the budget cycle. In the last 10 years, from 2014 to last year, if you take all our expenses, money paid, salaries, counties, development, everything, and you only remove the debt payment, the expenses were 14.6 trillion.
For the 10 years.
For the 10 years. Then you look at our collections. The revenue, the tax that the Kenyan people paid, were 13.3 trillion. That is our own money. So the deficit, if you look at the revenue money you had vis-a-vis your expenses, the deficit was 1.3 trillion.
For the 10 years.
For the 10 years. Now, if you are supposed to finance your budget deficit, because that's the only thing you should have borrowed for. You borrow to cover the deficit. Because you have 13.3, but your expenses are 14.6. So you only need to go out and borrow 1.3 trillion.
In 10 years.
In 10 years. You know these people borrowed 7.7 trillion.
Half of the expenses.
I need to understand this. You needed 1.3 trillion. Because that was your deficit, as per your expenses and your revenue. Your deficit was 1.3 trillion. They went and borrowed 7.7 trillion. That is 6.4 trillion more than was necessary. You understand that part? So you borrowed, if 10 years it took you, your deficit of 1.3 trillion, but you borrowed 6.4 trillion more. Do you know what these people have done to you? They've borrowed 60 years ahead. 60 years. Because 10 years is 1.3. Another 10 years. It comes to, they borrowed 60 years of debt. Now that is what they're struggling to deal with here. Because you are being told that your tax revenue is meant to pay for government expenses. The largest of which is debt. 80% of your collection is going to debt finance. So you are paying for 60 years of debt that was borrowed. And that debt, when it was taken, it was not founded in the budget. So there was no deficit. There was nothing it was funding in the budget. This is both Ruto and Ruto. Borrowed illegally, and Ruto is continuing with it. And then they come to Kenyans to pay. Last year when they came with their Finance Act, we sat here, we said they'll never meet their target. They didn't meet their target by a whooping over 350 billion. In fact, if you take year by year, the average that they collected this financial year is around 170 billion. That was the average of Uhuru. 170 billion last year. And yet Uhuru had not increased the taxes. They had introduced housing levy. These ones have introduced housing levy. They increased VAT on fuel to 16%. And other taxes and levies and charges which they increased. But the average is still the same. The Laffer curve is right in play. Now, in the new financial bill that they've brought, they've realized that you cannot collect anymore from tax revenue. What have they done? Now, they've decided, since we still must make payments, they've gone to the IMF to take more loans and the World Bank. The IMF and World Bank are telling them, no, these are loans we cannot see where they're going to. You want us to give you more money. You are a country with people. You give out what is this called a sovereign bond or a sovereign debt. The sovereign are your people. Can I see your people contributing? Are they able to sacrifice? Now they know they cannot sacrifice more on the tax because the Laffer curve has been achieved. Now they are going to your assets. They're telling you, see me, with your small motor vehicle, can you give me a fraction of it? So your motor vehicle, give me 2.5% of its value to pay for this illegal debt.
Yes.
Come to somebody else, the same thing. So everybody's being told to take a haircut. So Kenyans need to understand that even this will fail. They will not fill the gap. I've told you the debt is for 60 years.
60 years ahead.
And you're not going to solve it by coming back to Kenyans and giving them haircuts. Yeah. Start with the motor vehicles. Next, you go to M-Pesa bank statements, accounts. You go to bank accounts. Next, they will tell us it is hut tax. You go and remove, for every hut you have or every house you have, you pay an equivalent of a fraction, a percentage of its value to government. Because they're trying to do the impossible. It cannot be done. That also will fail, as usual. And while at it, something that I noticed yesterday in today's Business Daily, that the government of Kenya is going to, after collecting the housing levy, they are going to spend 20 billion to buy government bonds, treasury bills. You know the oxymoron is this. This is an oxymoron. Government collects my money as housing levy. You pay the housing levy. They collect it. Then the same government goes to the domestic market to float a bond. Then it buys the bond
with your money.
With my money. To finance its own budget. Then it pays interest rate. The interest rate that they're going to pay is again from our tax collection. My own money. So it is my money that they took. They float a bond and at an interest rate, they come back to me to take my money and use it to pay interest rate on my own money. That's the most stupid and ridiculous idea that anybody ever came up with. Because if I have the money already, because it's my money, we are the sovereign. Why am I lending myself money to finance my household? It's like I'm going to my house and telling my householders that for the food you are eating here, I'm going to take a loan from myself.
To buy you food.
To buy you food. Then I go and buy the food. I take the loan, I buy the food. Then I tell them that, but now the interest rate for this food that I'm buying in the household, I will pay an interest rate of 16%. Then I come back to myself and I say, that loan that we took, I need another 16% from myself to pay back the loan that I took from myself. It doesn't make sense. And you'll find somewhere in between, somebody somewhere, this is where the thieving is taking place. And my leader, Jimmy Wanjigi, has been saying, this whole concept of domestic borrowing, it's a fraud.
It's thuggery.
It is thuggery. It's stealing from the people of Kenya. Because you'll find in between your fund arrangers. This interest rate, they are being paid a percentage of it. This interest rate will not find its way all of it back into the coffers. Somebody is fleecing our money. So all they wanted was just to accumulate from us, float it, trade with our money, and take the money away from us. Because who is going to keep the audit trail of that interest? And it's from the same people.
It's as if they are going to audit themselves.
It doesn't make sense. So Kenya Kwanza and William Ruto are failures. This economic challenge that we have, they are not able to address it. And the sooner we accept that, the better. And seeing as it is that they are not going to address it, the Kenyan people now need to start having a serious conversation with themselves. That this is the problem, the economy. You are seeing their response to the economic problem. That response is just exacerbating the pain and the problem. They are not addressing it. They are actually compounding the problem. Now we need to start having a serious conversation with the leaders and identifying people who actually understand our problem today and have tangible solutions that can address this economic problem. Because what we have so far, that has been presented as the political leadership that we have, none of them is going to address this problem. The problem is just going to be compounded. And maybe Kenyans now need to start making a decision. Maybe you want this pain. But if you don't want this pain, then we must now have a conversation with ourselves. What kind of leaders are we electing? as a people that we are giving our sovereign power to exercise and cause us more pain? Is it that we love pain, that we just want to destroy this country by looking at the caliber of leaders that we are electing every time, and yet we give them audience everywhere they go? Why should we even clap for members of parliament who, when they go to Bunge, they pass laws that don't even make sense to their people? They no longer pay attention to the public participation component of our constitution. That, to me, is the new conversation that the people of Kenya need to have. What is the kind of a leader that you want? Are we going to elect someone because of how he dances or she dances on the podium?
How loud he shouts.
Or how loud he shouts?
Yes.
Are we just going to say it's TB?
Yes.
As the basis of electing a leader. And yet, the problem we are dealing with, these are life and death issues. When the economy is being mismanaged, as it is being today, people are going to die, and people are dying. Businesses are closing. Lives are being destroyed. Look at now, even university education is in a mess. Over 600,000 students who qualified are not even going to access universities. Private universities are closing. Vaccines have not been procured. Vaccines for our babies are not being procured, are not available. Basic vaccines are not available in our hospitals because government has failed to procure it and make it available. Now, which diseases are we exposing these kids to? And that is the future of this nation. While we are doing that, somebody decides to take a private jet from Nairobi to Atlanta, Georgia, at the cost of 74 million Kenya shillings, one-way trip. Almost 200 million, just on the travel alone, on the jet alone. You've not put accommodation, you've not put the per diems, you've not put the other incidentals. Just travel alone, you are talking of almost 200 million Kenya shillings. And yet we don't have vaccines in hospitals. And you know this thing of Ruto going to America on an expensive jet. He's gone there to beg. Now, even if you are a beggar, you must have common sense. You can't be coming to beg and you are dripping in flashy outfits. You are flaunting like you've arrived. And yet you are going to beg. Even those Mzungus are going to look at you that this guy is mad. How can he come to us here, bling bling, on a private jet, on a begging bowl, and that yet he's come here on a 200 million jet, two-way, with a huge delegation of people. And all he's asking is that he begs. I mean, he's not showing any acts of frugality or being financially conscious, because it's a begging mission at the end of the day. So when he comes back, you'll find there's nothing tangible.
But they called it state visit.
Fine, even if it is state visit. But they will not take you seriously, because you can imagine, even now as we're talking, they are profiling him. The President of America is going to be briefed. They are going to develop a profile of him. When he arrived, what he's done, how he arrived, his delegation, mode of transport. So you're telling us you've come here on a 200 million Kenyan shillings jet, and you've come to beg from our taxpayers to give you money. And you, the one you have, you're living the good life. Why not take AQ from here to New York? Then take commercials while there. And I'd said this before, when they were saying they wanted to buy a new presidential jet. We don't need it. Presidents fly commercial. Just make specific arrangements for their flight. It is cheaper, it shows frugality, and it responds to the needs of the people at the time. We are going through an economic challenge. The people who are in office cannot show opulence at the expense of the poor kids without vaccines. I mean, the vaccines we are looking for only 1.3 billion. And we are talking of the number of kids who are going to benefit from those vaccines. The consequence of not availing the vaccines to them is going to be dire. Some of them are going to have life-threatening diseases. Some of them are going to die. And yet, just for 4 days, you've spent over 1 billion shillings to go to America, when you could have spent even less than 300 million. If you flew commercial with that entire entourage, delegation. So there is a big disconnect. And it's not his own money. This is poor people's money. It is the money that everybody contributes to.
Yeah.
Either as through pay as you earn, or consumable tax as VAT,
Yeah.
or the fuel levy that we pay every time you use fuel in this country.
Yeah.
Now that is the oxymoron of Kenya Kwanza. And you'll see, there is nothing tangible that is going to come out of this American trip.
The way they are hyping it.
No, they're hyping it, but nothing tangible.
Yes.
Eh? You say you're going to Tyler Perry's studio.
Yes.
So you could have also met Eric Omondi here in Kenya and discuss issues of how to improve the creative industry.
Or even the minister, the cabinet secretary.
What will the ambassador do? Then you're going to open some small kiosk and selling Kenyan tablecloths in America. You should be telling us the conversation in America today is how we are opening up, expanding the scope of the AGOA agreement. If you're doing a bilateral, how are we able to get our produce in Kenya to land in the American market? How are we expanding opportunities for our people in terms of education? How are we expanding the exchange of technology with American industries? What incentives are we going to give to American manufacturers to come and set up shop here in Kenya? There's nothing like that happening. Those are the kind of things that you'll expect from a state visit. And in a state visit that is properly organized, you start with the host.
Yes.
You don't see the host on your last day before you come back. Then it means there's no serious conversation you're going to have. They are profiling you and you're playing into their hands. They are writing briefs on yourself and they analyze everything. Everything you're saying, they analyze. And finally, some of those people that you're even seeing in those meetings that you're holding with the Kenyans in America, 50% of the people in that room were Kenyans who came from here to accompany him.
The delegation.
The delegation were just
governors,
the governors, his handlers, media people, CGI, just hangers on. So there are more than half, 50%, who are in that room. You could have as well addressed them here in Kenya and told them what you wanted to tell them. Instead of going to tell them the same thing in Atlanta, Georgia. Doesn't make sense. But anyway, it is for Kenyans to see and to make a conscious decision going forward. The quality of leadership that we need and that we deserve. If Kenyans think that this is good, then so be it. Let them continue with it. I believe that this is not the fate of Kenyans. Kenyans deserve better. And we do have better alternatives that exist in this country. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Naibu. And of course, as we wind up, your party leader, Jimmy Wanjigi of Safina Party, and yourself have been actually the champions of economic resolution. Liberation.
Yes.
Economic liberation. That is currently the third liberation of this country. And so many people have been asking that, what measures have you guys put in place, suppose a chance comes up that you guys have that mantle to...
You know, as we've identified that the problem is debt finance. Because out of every 100 shillings you're collecting, 80 shillings goes to debt finance. You're left with 20. So you keep borrowing. So if it was 80 last month, in 3 months' time it will be 82. Before you know it will be 85. Before you know it, you will have defaulted. In fact, let me say this. In the strict sense of the word, already this government has defaulted on its debt. Why do I say so? Counties are not receiving their allocations in time. Is that not a default?
It's a default.
School capitation, they are not receiving the full sum that they are entitled to, and they are not even receiving it on time. Is that not a default? Pensioners are not receiving their pensions on time. Salaries are being delayed now for county workers, universities, other parastatals. People are not getting their salaries within time. That is a default. That's why they are coming for your haircut. And they've started with motor vehicle. Next will be your land, your house, your piki. Then now they'll just go into your bank accounts and close them. So they've defaulted. So all we are saying is that this country will only move forward until the day, we will not move forward until the day they open those debt books. Because it is the largest expenditure item of your revenue. You are spending 80% of what you collect on debt finance. You need to understand, I've told you, that the debt that was legitimately procured or that ought to have been procured,
Yes.
as per our budget books, as we've studied it as Safina Party, led by Jimmy Wanjigi, was only 1.3 trillion. That was the deficit. They took 7.7 trillion.
In 10 years.
And in 10 years, and they keep taking more, compounding the problem. If you don't deal with this and reduce your debt repayments to even 20 shillings out of every 100 shillings you collect, you are still in the same hole. And that is what Kenyans now need to start focusing on. What are we paying for? Because before you look at what you're paying for, then you're wasting everybody's time. It was 60%, now it has moved to 80%. Before you know it, it's going to be 90%. Then it will be all 100%.
Yes.
That is why you don't see any development happening.
Yeah.
From the last the budget, they had allocated almost 864 billion shillings on development finance.
Yes.
Without, and if you look at what the controller of budget said, I think it was in February, they had only absorbed 10% of that amount on development. So there's no development taking place. All the money that was allocated for development is being used to pay debt. Why? And if national government is not doing any development projects, county governments are not doing any development projects, what will stimulate this economy? The private sector is not doing any development because the private sector, if they go to look for loans, the interest rates are prohibitive. They are not able to afford those interest rates. So what is going to stimulate? Where's the flow of money? So government is not doing it. National government is doing 10% absorption. County governments are not doing it. Private sector is not doing it. So how will this economy be stimulated? How will it grow? It cannot. That is why look at the state of the country today. Just talk to anybody. People are very gloomy. It's like there's a funeral in this country. Only those who are in Kenya Kwanza, high positions, seem to be enjoying. Because them, they are eating off the cookie jar. While the rest of the country is in pain. That has to come to a stop, if Kenyans so desire it. How long will we suffer this pain? And where will our help come from? Our help will come from Safina. Jimmy, Willie, Ticket. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Naibu. Of course, every person who has been watching, may God bless you. We say a big thank you. Thank you so much, Naibu. And to every person, keep sharing. Of course, you just hit 69,000.
We are heading to 100,000.
Yes, on
we
TikTok.
welcome more people to come to TikTok.
Yes.
That is where the revolution is taking place.
Exactly.
Yes.
And of course, Facebook as well. Keep sharing, keep following so that we can grow and make this constituency as strong as it should be. Bye-bye. My name is Simi Kenya. Until next time, may God bless you.